Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Good afternoon, Manitoba hockey fans, and welcome into another edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast here on G-Show Productions, your home for hockey here in Manitoba. I'm your host, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. This edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, goaltenders, as well as Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. As you can see their logos in the top right-hand screen, mirroring my left, as camera reverses everything. I always forget about that. But today's episode, gonna have another Winnipeg High School Hockey League guest on the show, Severin Wychuk. He's the head coach of the Springfield Sabres. Had a chance to ask him about just how the season's going, talking about how this team has fared throughout their history, touching on that a bit, how they've worked their way up the ranks through the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, and much more. Later on, we're going to get into some statistics, standings, recent scores, as well as stats leaders from around leagues in the Manitoba hockey scene here at the amateur level on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for episode 11. That's all coming up today on this Friday, December 6th, our first December show of the year here, as 2024 comes to a close soon, but happy to bring you all this episode and plenty more here before we're all said and done in 2024. Severin Wychuk, head coach of the Springfield Sabres, joining the show up next. Severin Wychuk, head coach of the Platinum Promotions Division Springfield Sabres in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, joining this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Severin taking a look at the standings so far through the first 11 games for the Springfield squad. 7-4 in the thick of it, among the top teams in the league to start off. Tell me and the viewers that are watching this about what it's been like to see this team have some success to start off the year.
Hey, first of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a great start to the year. It's our first year back in the Platinum Promotions Division for a few years. So it's great to play some different teams and in different arenas. So far, so good. The competition's been great. All the games have been close. There's been some ups and downs, but we've managed to kind of maintain our position in the top half of the league, sort of the top six there. And we've played some really strong opponents last week in Oak Park and Westwood, and came out on top in some really tough games. So we're starting to find our groove a little bit here. I think we've won our 6 of our last 8, so sort of starting to kind of find our groove and getting a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, and of course, Westwood and Oak Park, both teams that are a bit above your team in the standings in the Springfield Sabres. But you talked about how it's been a little bit since this team has been in the Platinum Promotions Division. Talk about, I guess, the past few years, leading up to this team getting promoted again to the top div in the High School Hockey League.
Yeah, I think this is probably 17th or 18th year of our program. And we've been in all three divisions. We've been in the Platinum Promotions, Winnipeg Free Press, and Price divisions, and enjoyed all three divisions. You know, the key is to be in a division when there's lots of parity. So our program's had a lot of success over that time. We've won 5 times in all the different divisions, and been fortunate to have some success, and really enjoyed it. We've spent probably the bulk of our program's existence in the Winnipeg Free Press division, the second division. So we've been there for a while. We had 1 year up in the top division a little while back. So I'd say for the last 5 years we have been in the Winnipeg Free Press division. Last year we had kind of finished mid-pack and had a really good run in the playoffs, and made it to the finals and lost to a strong Gabriel Watt team. So it was a pretty successful season. And this year saw about 10 grade 12s returning, which already, had a really strong, group of veterans returning. And then we had a couple players decide to play for us that played Eastman Selects U18 AAA. They're entering grade 12 this year too. So we added them to the mix to that group. And that really allowed us to have a good, strong veteran team. And so yeah, we ended up being placed in the top division, and we were happy, excited for the challenge. And like I said, I think the entire high school hockey league is a great league, and we enjoy being in any division as long as the parity's good. And so far this year, the parity's been good, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up being in the Winnipeg Free Press division. I had a chance to watch many Belleville Barracudas games throughout my high school life, since that was the school I went to, and that was a team that gave that team some tests back then. But just to stay there consistently in the second division in a very competitive overall Winnipeg High School Hockey League, like we've talked about, what does that say about just the program that's been built here, like you said, over the last 17, 18 years with the Springfield Sabres squad?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate that our first year we made the finals actually and lost 8-0 in our inaugural season, and then our second year we had a really strong team and lost in the semis, and then we took a few years there where we had a little bit of struggles as far as getting players out and doing well in the standings, and so there was 3 or 4 years there where there were struggles. And then after that we went down to the Price division and had success and built the program up, and then players decided to want to play for the Springfield Sabres versus going to U17 AAA or U18 AAA. And they played together for 3 years, grade 10, 11, 12, and those are the years that really started building that program up, and we had a lot of success. And then with that success, people see sort of how the players are well embraced in school and the community, and they want to be a part of that. And so we've been fortunate to have those players come and play for us, and I've been very lucky that they've been proud to be a part of the program. And that yeah, for a school of 600 kids, we feel like we've done very well over the years, in competing. And I think it's a testament to the players for wanting to come and be a part of the program. And then yeah, it just sort of piggybacks off each other, and basically, the younger players come up and see the success and they want to be a part of it. So yeah, I've been lucky, I would say. But it's also the players, right? If players all decide to go play elsewhere, then you know what? You're not getting everyone that may be in your building. But if they come and they all want to play with their friends and do well, then there's more success.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen that throughout the years. This Springfield Sabres high school hockey team, like you said, building the program up from Price Division, has been able to bring in some, pretty good players throughout the years. This season, like you said, there's some good veteran presence on the team. Leading the way has been veterans in Hayden Cochin as well as Cam Sylvester with 24 points each. Behind them, Cam Osborne with 16 points. A lot of depth outside of those guys on this year's team. Tell me about, how this year's Springfield Sabres team is built.
Yeah, I have maybe a different philosophy than a lot of teams, particularly in the A division and the Platinum Promotion division. I like to keep a full roster of 19 or 20 players. I know some schools, they'll keep, that's including goalies. Some schools will decide to keep maybe 17 or 16. And sort of our philosophy is to try and keep as many, guys as we can to be part of the program. And then we found that in turn has helped us have success in playoffs, and especially in long series and third periods. I find that having that extra line can really make a difference in for checking hard and basically, winning that third period in most games. And so that has helped us a lot of success. So we try and bring on as many kids as possible. And so this year, yeah, we have, a bunch of guys in the top in the scoring in the Platinum Promotions division, which is great. We have a lot of offense. I think I'd say we have one of the more offensive teams in the league, but we have a ton of depth, right? And when you can roll all those lines 5-on-5 and they can play well, forecheck well, hold their own defensively, chip in offensively, and be physical to play against. That really wears teams down the other side. So we're lucky that we have a full roster and two great goalies, and that allows us to sort of try and wear other teams down. And there aren't many teams that keep the full roster. There's some out there that do. I know St. Paul's does, and there's others that do, but it's just different philosophies, but in our successful years, I would say where we've won championships, that has been integral to our success, is keeping four full lines and in the end coming out on top. So yeah, so it's good to have that kind of depth in the community.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's if it's something familiar that works as well, why not go back to it? And all coaches know how huge depth is and can be, and all coaches want that, great fourth line, but not all teams get it. And it seems like the Springfield Sabres team are confident in that and having that as well as Severin, telling us here. But looking back at last week, like you talked about last week. Two big wins against two opponents in the Oak Park Raiders and the Westwood Warriors. Three straight wins for this team, like you said, winners of six of the last eight. But I want to go back to that game against the JH Bruns Broncos. A bit uncharacteristic, I guess, on the schedule so far, an 8-2 loss. To see this group bounce back the way they have, I mean, it speaks about, I guess, experience, but maybe a bit more of something special in this group as well to put that in the rearview mirror and to come out with three straight strong performances.
Yeah, JH Bruns had a great game against us. They came out and beat us very handily, 8-2. And I think our boys bounced back and responded very well. I'm not, as a coach, one to dwell on losses. Try and look forward. And then the boys came, practice, worked hard, and they try not to look at the schedule and see who we're playing. It doesn't matter because any team in this division can beat anybody, and so we try and take it one game at a time. And we came back, and we started with West Kildone in there. Good colleague, a friend of mine. Coaches their team, and they got a great program. They're up in the top division right now. We were able to get a win against them, and then they're a good team. I think they took Oak Park and St. Paul's to a shootout, so they're kind of trending up as well. And so that was a good start. And then yeah, like Oak Park and Westwood, I mean, great programs. And Oak Park game, like we were up 3-0, and wasn't the best as they tied it up with 40 seconds left there. But you know
Right.
what? They're a tough team. Those players don't give up on that program, and they worked hard right to the buzzer. And we were fortunate enough to win in a shootout. So it was a good game. It wasn't the prettiest of wins, but the boys worked hard. And then against Westwood, we probably put together our three best periods of the year. Like the boys worked really hard and played really well in that game and maintained their discipline. And the special teams was good, like you mentioned. We have some top end scorers, and the power play was really clicking, and we had those guys contribute. And yeah, it was a great game. And again, I know a lot of the coaches in this league, and there's a lot of great coaches in this league. So Westwood's coach there, Steve, I know him way back from university and stuff like that. And it's fun coaching against these guys. They're competitive, and they're good guys. And I quite enjoy coaching against them because they're like I said, they're friends, and they're good people. And it's a little bit fun competition. And yeah, they got a great team and program there. And that was a good hockey game, and a really fun one to be a part of. And so yeah, it was two wins, a bit of different types of wins, but yeah, it was a good week. And then now this week we got Selkirk and Steinbach, and also good teams who had a strong showing in the Brandon tournament. So we don't take any opponent lightly, because last time we faced Selkirk, they took us to overtime, and it was a great hockey game as well. So every game is a tough win in this division.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, just taking a look at the standings, like even though, a team like the St. Paul's Crusaders right now, or I mean the Vincent Massey Trojans, sorry, at number one, like they're tied for first place with Reese, St. Paul's, Westwood, Oak Park, Springfield, all right behind them. But for this Springfield Sabres team, of course, back in action coming up shortly here this afternoon, taking on Lord Selkirk, like you said, and then a game tomorrow. Some good games on the schedule leading into, the Christmas break. What's the goal here? Looking to finish off 2024 on the right note.
Yeah, again, try and take it one game at a time. We got a pretty busy schedule. I think after this, again, we see Massey for the first time, Oak Park and Westwood again, and Stonewall again. Like we're pretty busy going up until Christmas. So I think in a league where you get 3 points for a win, try and get as many points as you can. That clean win makes you jump. You win two or three clean wins in a row, that's 9 points, and you're jumping real quick. But if you lose three in a row, there's a lot of teams that pass you as well. So you got to try and earn as many points as possible in that type of I don't know if many leagues have that type of standing point system, but we do, and you can move up or down quickly. So try and just one game at a time and pick up some points. And we're hopeful, like being in the top division for the first time in a lot of years. We're hopeful to be ranked in the top 10 whenever the MHSW rankings come out. And, we're trying to push for that top half to, finish as high as we can. So just one game at a time, earn as many points as we can. And, yeah, so pretty busy month here, but, yeah, just pick up as many points as you can in those standings.
Well, this Springfield Sabres team, of course, back in action coming up on this Tuesday, the day this is being recorded, with head coach of this Springfield Sabres team and Severin Wychuk. Severin, thanks for coming on and, giving us all a lesson on, a bit of the history about Springfield's program and just, yeah, telling the viewers about, how things are going so far this year. Best of luck in the upcoming games and the rest of the way this year.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate you covering the league. It's a great league, and appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, have a good rest of your day.
And Severin Wychak, head coach of the Springfield Sabres, joining this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, as well as goaltenders. For the Springfield Sabres, not faring so well this week in the games they had in regular season play here in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, losing in a close one, 5-4 to the Lord Selkirk Royals at home on Tuesday, and then playing again on Wednesday, losing 6-1 to the Steinbach Regional Sabres. They'll be taking on the Oak Park Raiders as well as the Vincent Massey Trojans and Stonewall Rams next week, starting on Wednesday with that matchup against Oak Park, a road game against Oak Park, as well as two home games to finish off the week next week for Springfield. We're going to take it to a commercial break here, and once we come back, I'm going to take you through all the latest happenings from around not only the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, but the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League, the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League, and yeah, also going to show you guys some things we've been cooking up as of late here on G-Show Productions. You're watching the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for episode 11. Stay tuned for more after this commercial break. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. And welcome back, everybody, to the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for episode 11 here, our first December episode of 2024. Not going to have many of them, of course, in terms of episodes left here in 2024, as Christmas is upon us very soon here. I know it's only the 6th, but have a feeling that it's going to come quicker than we know it, to be honest with you. But yeah, Severin Wychuk, head coach of the Springfield Sabres in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League. Joining this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for this week. Hoping to have more and more guests from the Winnipeg High School Hockey League and other leagues from Manitoba here on upcoming shows. So, we'll see what we can cook up, like I've said before. But we're going to start with the top junior league here in Manitoba in the MJHL and take a look at what's happened in the past little while here as we take a look at the games to end off November. There were a lot of close games in here, as you can see on the schedule. Not really any big blowouts. An absolute barn burner. The Selkirk Steelers, as I should say. Not Lord Selkirk, but yeah, the Selkirk Steelers defeating the Niverville Nighthawks 7-6 in Niverville back on the 27th. In terms of how December has started in this league, the Winkler Flyers, they finished November strong, and they start off December with a strong 4-1 win on the first last Sunday against the Winnipeg Blues for the Flyers. They'll be back in action coming up on, as we look at the schedule, not until the 8th, so this Sunday against Niverville. As they'll be at home for that one. As we take a look at the standings, Winkler is now up to third place, as was mentioned last week and seen on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, episode 10. They are only 2 points behind the Portage Terriers, as they got 3 games in hand on them as well, but no one's been better still than the Steinbach Pistons in this division throughout their first 25 games. As for the Selkirk Steelers, they've fallen quite a bit in the standings since the start of the season, when they started a perfect 10-0, 17-8-0-1 at this point in the year, but still in the thick of it, the fight. They got a game in hand on the Niverville Nighthawks, of course. That win in November, massive for Selkirk in terms of that spot in the standings. As for the Dauphin Kings, they still remain well atop of the West Division. They got a game in hand on the Northern Manitoba Blizzard, and up by 8 points. Swan Valley and the Winnipeg Blues remain as the bottom of the barrel in terms of teams in this league and the standings in their respective divisions. This hasn't changed at the top spot, the stats leaders here in the league, as Cameron Bollinger still leads the league with 37 points in 28 games, but Luke McCarthy is now up to second in the league in stats and has 4 less games played than Bollinger, only 2 points behind him. McCarthy is become the leader in points on the Selkirk Steelers team, overtaking Owen Warnick, of course, past Wyatt Witham, as well as he has 32 points, two-way tie there for 5th in the league, as you can see. As for the wins leaders, hasn't changed much here, as Cole Sheffield still leads the league with 16. Right behind him, though, Christian Green for the Steinbach Pistons, and has 4 less games played than him. Best save percentage as well goes to Christian Green with a 9.44 save percentage, and impressive with 3 shutouts. 3 players, as you can see here on the screen, with 3 shutouts this season. For more news surrounding the MJHL, visit their website at mjhlhockey.ca. We move into the Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League now, going a bit younger down the scale as we go from junior to U18s at this point. But as we take a look at how their November ended, there were some high scoring games in here, as we can see Eastman and Brandon with 8 goal wins over for Brandon, Central Plains for Eastman, Kenora, Brandon with 2 8-goal wins, actually, as we can see here, 8-3 against the Yellowhead Chiefs back on last Wednesday. As for how December started here in this league. A few barn burners in here. One notably in Interlake taking down Eastman 7-6. The Brandon Weekings, they got another crack at Yellowhead, and this time around putting up 9 instead of the 8 that they put on them before. For Southwest, the Cougars a strong 6-0 victory over the Parkland Rangers. We take a look at the standings for the Brandon Weekings. They're on top with the game in hand on the Southwest Cougars. It's tight near the top of the standings, as we can see here. And yeah, even at the bottom, Yellowhead with 3 wins on the year. Central Plains now up to 5. Kenora and Norman tied with 7 wins each there. There's a bit of separation between the 10th and 9th place teams. As for the top 8, though, Pembina Valley securing that 8th spot as for right now, but a lot could change as this season goes along. We're going to have all the updates as this season continues to roll along here on the network, on G-Show Productions, here on our YouTube channel. But as for the leaders, no better player right now in the league than Connor Holmsen, whose 43 points in 24 games played is good enough for close to 2 points per game, almost. I mean, he's at 1.79 points per game. Right behind him is Cole Dupuis. He's tied with another Southwest Cougar player in Lyndon Gold. But yeah, overall, lots of talent to go around on that board, as we can see. As for the goaltenders, quite a few with 8 wins right now in Justin Pro, Dylan McFadden, and former Pout Mountain Buffaloes goaltender in Pete Moreau. The best goaltender in the league, though, Winnipeg Bruins, Zach Matheson, a rookie, 11-2-0-1 so far this year. 0 shutouts. The goaltender with the most on this list, as you can see, Justin Perreault. As we'll move on to the Winnipeg High School Hockey League next, as we give you a sneak peek of those standings. We're going to get a sponsor rolling on the screen here as well. As you'll be able to see. Let's go with, give a little love to Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. But yeah, as we roll along here with our statistics, we talk about the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, and ended up, let's see here. No, these are not the right standings. We're going to see if we can correct the problem here. There we go. So these are the updated standings. So these aren't marked, unfortunately. For some reason that didn't copy over. But yeah, River East is now in first place in the top division in the league. Platinum Promotions, Vincent Massey, still with the best winning percentage in this division, but 1 point back of River East heading into today's games, as we take a look in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League on a Friday where there's only going to be 2 games played, and Vincent Massey playing in one of them. They'll be taking on the Oak Park Raiders, as Oak Park looking to surpass Vincent Massey in the standings, as they're currently at 26 points. A win in this league warrants 3 points, as me and Severin were talking about. The Belleville Barracudas, they're back atop of the Winnipeg Free Press division for them this week for Belleville, as we take a look at my former high school's games. It was a week off for them last week in Winnipeg High School Hockey League play, as they were down in Tampa, down in Florida, enjoying themselves in a tournament. But yeah, they returned to action. They lost last time out against the St. John's Ravenscourt Eagles 1-0, but they come back with 2 strong performances to close out their week on Wednesday and yesterday on Thursday. 3-1 on Wednesday against Murdoch McKay, and a 5-2 victory against the Sanford Sabres on yesterday for their Thursday action. As for the teams that are behind them right now, Garden City is very close. Miles McDonald is also, at 21 points with a few more games played than Garden City, as we can see there. And the team that keeps on rolling in the Price division, the C division here in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, the Louis Riel Voyageurs, now up to 11-0-0. This team has been a wagon all season long. 99 goals, 31 goals against, almost the first team to reach 100, and it's not really even close right now, as you can see. The only team with, almost as much as them, not really almost, but with, the second ranking, as you can see there, the Warman Wildcats with 74 goals. Actually, it's the Glenlawn Lions with more goals than Warren with 77. But yeah, how Louis Riel fared this week to get to 11-0. They end up defeating Linden Christian on 2 days ago, actually on Wednesday, 6-1. They're back in action to take on the Windsor Park Royals, who are the last place team in this C division, coming up today at Glenwood Community Center Rink. As yeah, Louis Riel could be a bit of a trap game for them. 11-0 going up against a Windsor Park Royals team that is looking to shock the world here this afternoon in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League. I guess we'll report back on what happens in that matchup coming up next week. But as for the leaders, as we go back to the Platinum Promotions division, Noah Fielding, no one's been better than him. A big reason why River East has been so successful has been the play of him, as well as Hansman Leon, or Leon Hansman, I believe it's Leon would be his first name, but 23 points in 9 games played. Very impressive stat line for him. Vincent Massey, why they've been so good this season? Well, their goaltending's been phenomenal. Nathan Dick and Apo Tuaminen, both combining for 8 wins so far, and very impressive save percentage. Tuaminen with 2 shutouts on the year. Finn Bjornsson for River East been big time in the pipes so far, as we can see there as well. As for as we move along into the Free Press division, Leo Renard's forward Samuel Matre has been big time, continues to be with 24 points in 11 games. Not really any new names here coming up into the leaderboards for the points, but as we take a look at the goaltending, Avery Seawalk, he goes up to top 2 in the league in terms of goalie stats. 6 wins, the most out of this top 5, as we can see, and a very impressive save percentage so far at 926. Check back here or on the Winnipeg High School Hockey League's website at Winnipeg, gshow.ca, for the full stats on this division, as well as this one here in the Price division, as Luca Tetro continues his phenomenal season. 2 points in the team's 6-1 victory against Linden Christian, as he has 47 and 11 games played now. 2.82 goals per game, which that's not even taken into account his points, which is like over 4 points per game. Warren Wildcats goaltender, though, Dallas Shaver, has been the story in this league so far. 931 save percentage, very impressive for him. And for the Voyageurs, you can tell this is a team that's heavily offensive, because Hunter Hyman and Adrio Senarini, both with sub 900, and for Senarini, a save percentage under 800. So their goaltenders, though, making the stops in crucial moments. Got to give them credit for that so far this year. Like mentioned, check out the Winnipeg High School Hockey League's website at winnipeghshl.ca for the full statistics on this league. We move on to the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League. Glenlawn still on top of the first division. In Division 2, the Sanford Sabres, they got quite a bit of separation right now between them and the second place team in the Selkirk Royals. As for the Dakota Lancers, good separation for them as well right now over the PCI Saints and teams like the Springfield Sabres. Beausejour, the West Kildonan Collegiate Wolverines, and the River East Kodiaks, all at the bottom of the barrel of the leagues in their respective divisions. But it can only go up from here, especially for West Kildonan, who is 0-10 right now in a season that it's been quite a struggle for them, unfortunately. But we take a look at the stats leaders. Kate Chubak and the Rigaud sisters headline this top 5 in the Division 1 stats leaders. Another Manitoba female hockey league player getting into the mix here in Callie Lavalley, top 5 in points for West Kildonan Collegiate. So yeah, Lavalley, she's gonna be, if they end up winning games, I think she's gonna have a lot to do with it this season, and that is a special player that doing special things despite her team 0-10 to start off this year in Division 1 play in the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League. The story of the year, though, I think, in this league and in women's hockey in general, honestly, I think that more people should start talking about it, and I've talked about it here, and I'll talk about it again. Celeste Pelletier, 7 shutouts in 8 wins, only 9 goals allowed. Like, I honestly have not seen a stat line like this ever in my life in hockey. She has been nothing but dominant for the CJS team this season. I mean, you take a look at the standings, right? 8 wins for this team, the best defensive team in the league by the goals against statistic, and a big part of that, the biggest reason has been Pelletier, who 961 save percentage as well, the most saves out of any goaltender on this list. So she's been busy, and she is in the running if there was an award for top goaltender in this province. Yeah, she gets it in contention for sure in the front runner for top goaltender in the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League this season. Congrats to you, Celeste, on what's been just a fun and remarkable season to watch unfold so far from yourself in the statistics. Makes me want to get out and watch that CJS girls team. That's been a very strong program throughout the years, might I add. But on to Division 2. Impressive stats here from the goaltenders as well, as Ainsley Boer is 4-0 with a 932 save percentage. Megan Polaires leading Selkirk in the crease right now with 2 shutouts throughout those 6 wins she's had. No one's been better, though, forward-wise than these 2 players, another Sanford player in Michaela Grant and Olivia Brewer, who both have 21 points. Brewer with 1 less game played, and then Grant. The rest of this top 5 very close in points, as we can see here. And yeah, in terms of Division 3, we take a look at it. Carla Suk continues to lead the way. 21 points, 14 games played. Not as good of a points per game average, though, as Eve Kubesh for Murdoch McKay, who, impressive. 10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points in 11 games played, almost a 2 points per game average, and very balanced, as we can see there, with 10 goals and 10 assists to make up those 20 points. As for goaltending in this league, very high save percentages from Emily Kay and Elizabeth Pree. Dakota's Pree and Springfield's Kay both been the top 2 goaltenders by the statistics so far this year in the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League, both with 3 shutouts each as well. So that's been a big help of why those save percentages look the way they are as well, along with just being solid throughout the season all around for this team. A bit of love for the Belleville Barracudas here, despite them not having the best season on paper right now. I mean, this team has one of the best goaltenders in the league, as we can see, and Leah Robinson, 4 wins in 8 games played with a 938 save percentage and 1 shutout. For all the statistics in this league, be sure to check out mwhshl.ca for more details. We're going to send it to another transition here coming up right away, and we're going to end off with something that I said at the start of the episode that we've been cooking up some highlights from the past games we've had here for the past few weeks at G-Show Productions on both MMJHL Game Day and the Manitoba Female Hockey League Game Days as well. You're watching the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Stick around for more after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. We're going to end off this episode with showing you some highlights of, games that we've been doing in the past few weeks here on the network. We're actually going to conclude the show right here and end off with those highlights playing out. So, yeah, doing things a bit differently. But, yeah, what a show it was today in terms of getting to talk to another coach from the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, and Severin Wychuk. Thank you to him for coming on this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast and being the guest and helping us out here at G Show Productions, informing the public about what Springfield hockey has been all about and what it's all about at this point in time. Thank you to Terrico as well as goaltenders, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and McKenna Fasteners and Tools for sponsoring another edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast as well. And thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning in as well to another edition of this show. The next edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, well, I'm debating right now either moving it permanently to Friday or to Saturday. The reason for that is I think it just makes a lot more sense in terms of, like, we have official partnerships with the teams and leagues that we do our other 3 podcasts with. And yeah, it's kind of, I think, cool if we do it on a Friday or Saturday with everything already underway within the week, with so much already happening, with more for us to cover instead of us covering stuff that's a bit older, I guess, even though they've been on Tuesdays. I guess, yeah, just not happy with where the show is placed right now in the schedule, and I feel like it may be more optimal for us to move it to Friday or Saturday. So, yeah, we're going to make that decision coming up next week. Stay tuned for the details for next episode coming up on our website and social media pages next week. Thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning in. Like I said, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you enjoyed this so you won't miss any future episodes here on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Yeah, we're hoping to have more highlights too on this podcast moving forward, more clips to show you, to showcase this great talent from around the Manitoba hockey amateur scene. But thought I'd show you, what you may also want to tune into, which is our game day productions. Like mentioned, we're partnered with leagues and teams, and 2 of those leagues here in Manitoba are the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League as well as the Manitoba Female Hockey League. We've had a chance to get out to rinks in Winnipeg this season, as well as Stonewall, rinks in Niverville as well, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I don't even know how many we've done so far this year, but if you're ever interested, it's full commentary. Sometimes, once in a while, we have 2 angles. Like last night at St. Vital for Vicks versus Raiders in the MMJHL. We won't have those highlights for you in this episode today. But yeah, just want to show you guys what we kind of got going on as our bigger productions, outside of our podcast here on the network. So enjoy, yeah, our highlights to end off this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And it's myself, Graham the G Show Forsyth, giving you the salute, peacing out, and waving so long. Enjoy these highlights coming up now. If I can find them. Huh. Here we go. Yeah, like I said, so long, everybody. Hope you enjoyed these. Still controlled by this ice team as Chavlik gets a pass up to Walker at the point. Chavlik, nice job to stay with this puck. Her shot turned aside by Labossiere, banging away at it afterwards. But Labossiere able to smother that to the selects, and given chase, Normando able to get there first. So nice move by Delaney Rigaud, dangling into the inside on Chloe Nicholas. She continues with it. Low shot rebound there, but just out of the reach for, leave number 9, Grenier, to do anything with it. Side of the net, Lexi Remillard, or Callie Remillard, that is, now out in front, but Delaney Rigaud can't pull the trigger, banging away at it, but Grunwald able to hold the line. Numbers against this ice team, but not anymore as the ice able to get fresh legs on. Nice move by Woznetsensky. Woznetsensky dangles and gets it to the front of the net, but couldn't be put away there. Now picked up by Abby Dixon, the captain. Plays it up with the backhand of Veda Rigaud. Whips this across to Beavis. Beavis, her shot through off the post, scores! Heidinger still with it into the middle, front of the net. Shanskog gets it to Dixon somehow, and Dixon turned aside there. Into the neutral zone, now picked up by the Selects team once again, who reverse it cross ice, pass towards the boards. That shot, oh, what a goal by Heidinger! Puck sent out, just chipped out past the boards, and now there's a 2-on-1 developing. Man has Carvalho with her. Carvalho, overshot, scores! The Selects truly just surviving this one now. Oh no, an error here from the Winnipeg Ice. Delaney, here we go, puts it into the empty net. You're watching MFHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions. Now playing give and go, 14 and 16. Sent across to Chloe Carrier. Now to Lexi Ramillard. Surveys her options, doesn't like what she sees, goes back to Chloe Carrier. Now back to Ramillard, low shot there, rebound! Oh, nice save made by Rakowski to keep it out. One more chance potentially as the goaltender starts to bang her stick. That shot wide of the net, ineffective, but out in front, lucky bounce for Eastman, but can't take advantage of it as Rakowski strong enough to make the save. Puck now sent out of the Hawk zone and up for Cox. Cox passes across to Duran, drops that to O'Brien, Dangling, backdoor! Oh, Pembina Valley can't connect with it. Schroeder sends this behind Isabella Carey, but she's able to pick it up. Going from inside, outside, now sent to the net, tip, but nice aggressive save made by Rakowski. Out of her net to play, rebound there, this time for Eastman, they put that away. Number 35, and Rakowski also had Grenier with her. Now in the slot, loose puck for Grenier, scores! Sending it all the way down deep with 34 seconds remaining on this penalty kill. Nice job by O'Brien to win this forecheck. Spins around, makes two Selects players head to the ice. Making them look silly, that is, with those moves. Heidinger trying to chip it past number 14 in Beatty. Strong enough to do so. Sending Delaney Rigaud, who has a player going to the net. Backhand and oh, scores! Walker. As this will be taken away, scores! Sydney Haggart goes rooftop on Gina Plett. Pierre, nice move. Makes it to the net. Pierre dangling and Nolgren scores. That pass to the blue line through the middle. Now it's a 3-on-1 developing for this Ice team, scores! And it's the Ice this time, taking advantage of some open ice. It's back into the ice zone, held at the point. Shortridge, that backhand scores! To the point, backhand pass back to Wozni there from number 16. And Leah Clausen out in front, oh, scores! Callie Lavalley! But Nicholas ends up losing a handle on this, and now it's Rio Pierre who gets behind all the ice defense and on Plett, backhand scores! Well, we've seen her do this before tonight, getting behind the Winnipeg Ice defense. You're watching MMJHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions. Thanks for tuning in. Kennedy and Derek continue to battle down low as that into the slot, up to the point now, that shot scores! Number 20 in Riel Chartrand. From the point again, it's Bear. His shot turned aside. Rebound, Emberly scores! As it's Rooney skating up. Rooney, now he dangles, scores! Top corner of the net to give this Twisters team their first goal of the night. Kutry can't get that pass to Bateman, and that pass does get to Bateman as they score. Picked up by Bateman now. Bateman finds King, middle seam. His shot, oh, loose puck picked up. Kutris, this time from Bateman, scores. As now played up and sent in deep off the stick of number 26 for the Twisters, and they're able to take advantage of that and score. A nice zone entry there by Slatcher, and now saucer pass across Bear. That goes to King, now scores! As now picked up by Darren. His shot scores! The Twisters unable to keep it in. Bateman go to the net. Kutras decides to shoot a hole. What a snipe there from number 18. It's the Twisters going D to D now. And that off of a stick out in front. Dangling through, scores! Now onto the stick of Golford. He unloads a shot just wide of the net. Back goes out in front. Stepnick. His rebound picked up by Thomas. And he puts it in for the first power play goal of the night for this Twisters team. To recover it, number 7, Big Heady. As now picked up Olsen. He looks to shoot. Oh, scores!